No, 100%. Honestly, you pointed out the ISOs were on fleek. Like every time they would try to commit on him, you know, usually the mentality is, oh, let me drop ISO because I'm gonna die. It was like, no, I'm gonna drop ISO because they're committing on my teammates, and they have no other option than to try to kill him, and then they, you know, turn and burn.
And it's just the overall control from Rival between this Erlang, Athena, and Ice is just setting up so much control for them, not really giving any Eager any opportunity to come back into this game. Every single time there was a little skirmish in the jungle, it was Rival that was engaging first.
What adjustments would you like to see Eager make here in this game, Chapo?
I think you know, the chalk wasn't, I didn't prefer, like, you know, Sobek doesn't have hard CC, and so how are you gonna bring a Solar that doesn't have any hard CC either? Even though he does have a silence, you need control.
And it's also wind up, right? It's not even instant.
Exactly.
It seems that the chalk was force picked because they didn't want to deal with aggressive Erlang Shen in the laning phase. Obviously, you can clear safely from a distance by throwing the axe, getting the guaranteed torrent. There's a few options to go other than the chalk. You could go Sun Wukong.
Yes.
You could go Vamana
And that's what he's known
for
too. I've never seen him play chalk, and he just brings it out. I mean, maybe he's been practicing for Lamp, but Wukong is something. Ooh, I like it.
Oh, so
spicy.
Erlang picked up first pick here for Eager, obviously taken out of the hands of Gnome, who really dominated with it. And then they grab Odin Isis themselves. Odin very early in the draft can be punished, though. I mean, is this something that Eager's or Rival's going to have to worry about?
Honestly, I like it. Like, all right, so Erlang, one of the biggest counters is Odin. Like, you can't go anywhere with your turtle shell, and on top of that, your heal's not gonna work. And you know, also it takes it away from Rival if they wanted to use it in support, which they have shown that Myflin does play. I mean, I don't know how much they study, but Myflin does play it, so I like it.
And it's also going to limit Eager's picks, right? It's going to be scary for them to pick a character with no jump now.
No, not at all. But do you think we're going to see Jellly play the Willish trying to counter this Odin? Is this something that he's known for?
He's played it, but I don't feel like they perform on it. So
that's no. His Awilix is bad. I feel like that's what it was. Is that not in his guide pool? I mean, it's hard, right? I mean, there's a lot of junglers to potentially bring in there now, and it's you can't keep up with every single one.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's new to it. You know, Awilix is kind of like spicy. You know what I mean? It brings it's a little more mechanical. Like you have to read and more reading, and like you gotta know when it's disjoint. But I'm glad he went for the Hunt bots. You know, it has a jump, easy way out of the Odin ult, and it has it's really good versus too. It spreads out the people when they're trying to get on top of the Isis ult.
I mean, honestly, with Bacchus locked in, I mean, they could pick a Awilix themselves if I'm Rival. I mean, if I'm Eager, I'm a little bit worried here. I might want to ban a Awilix myself.
You could potentially ban away a Willish for Eager because Rival do have the next pick, and we could potentially see Odin in that solo lane. But between Isis, Bacchus, and a Willish in that 3v3 skirmish, there's enough damage between the Bacchus and the Willish, and all you have to do is make sure that Isis survives any sort of counter engage, and Rival should be able to win those 3-on-3s.
I mean, it's big circles right now for Rival. They've got the Bacchus, the Isis, the Odin. It's going to be able to keep Erlang Shen countered pretty heavily, and then Hunbat's, he's going to have to jump out. And then Sol, I mean, she can get out with Disapparate, but that's a 3-second windup.
Yeah. And one thing that if Eager did study, they would ban Fenrir right here, honestly. Fenrir, Rapio is known for Fenrir, and even though there it is.
There it
is. Man,
Chapo knows his stuff, man.
Dude, man,
it's like you played the jungle before competitive.
Almost.
Oh, I tried once.
Almost. How well did it go for you?
Not too good.
Not too good.
I ended up in Xbox.
Rival here, going to be looking for their pick. And again, I mean, I think at Awilix, I don't know if Rapio really wants to bring it out. It can be a risky pick. If you get behind, it's really hard to recover on that god.
I mean, they did a good job surviving the initial gank attempt coming out of Eager, but either way, we're going to see how they adapt to it. They're still holding off on their jungle pick. It could be potentially Odin in the jungle for Rapio.
That's true.
That is a flex opportunity for them, but it's going to be Anhur for now, keeping that last card hidden from Eager.
This is screaming early pressure objective control for Rival once
100%.
again.
100%. So much early game damage, so much AoE. Oh, every god has AoE. I mean, if you include Anhur, but...
Yeah, it's kind of
it could go through lines.
AoE.
You got to make sure that you don't line up behind each other. That Desert Fury is very misleading, but already.
There we go. Xing, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, is this Dwurst solo, Xing? I mean, right? No?
This is Dwurst, Erlang, that's support.
Okay.
Myflin's known for that.
All right, and then Scylla going to be locked in as well. So
Bakasura.
A little bit of combo potential with Scylla and Baka, and probably the most one of the more important games Rival's going to be playing this weekend here. Thoughts on these drafts, Chapo?
I think Eager wins this.
I like the cripple, though. I'm not going to lie on the Bakasura. That's going to shut down the escape potential for this Erlang, Shen, Hunbatz, and Scylla. If there's anywhere even close to this Bakasura, if Rapio comes from behind, this should be a very quick team fight for Rival, especially with the burst damage coming out of this Odin Bacchus.
So what's your call? Totally, you got to give a call.
I'm giving it to Rival this time. I was wrong before, but got to give it to Rival.
I'm just gonna follow Chapo here.
you gotta
this
listen to me,
might be a little bit of
come on.
biased though. Obviously, he needs this to guarantee his qualification. Otherwise, he's still got games that are important tomorrow. But we got a game for you, and it's gonna be Aggro and Tom standing by once again.
I hate Bakasura. Let me put that one out there. It's one of my least favorite characters in the game because I find him extremely one-dimensional. But totally brought out that other half a dimension that I think is really important. Odin brings the cage, so in response, you answer with a lot of characters that can jump out. Cripple shuts it down.
True, but you've also got the basic attack damage reduction on Xing Chen's 1 that makes his, his damage not nearly as relevant.
One.
I mean, that's literally only Bacchus. All Bakasura has is auto attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, his third ability just augments his auto attacks. I mean, I guess if you count the damage from the leap, which actually does a decent amount, but if you're jumping in for damage, you're going to be in a bad spot. most likely.
Exactly. So Bakasura here, like Kevin noted, this is one of the more important matches that Rival's going to play this weekend, if not ever. So with that in mind, the Bakasura isn't a fun pick. This isn't something just coming out of nowhere. This is obviously something that Rapio has had in the corner for a long time.
I mean, if Rival doesn't get the 2-0 here, they need Sora to help them out to get qualified tomorrow. They'll need the 2-0 up against Excel, and then it'll depend on what happens between Eager and Sora. So you're right.
I mean,
this is pretty important for them.
Yeah, the Excel win's probably not as difficult, but certainly when you're relying on somebody else to really get yourself in, that's when things become problematic. So here, we are going to see, like I said, we are going to see the Xing Chen in the solo lane. Aircougar is not playing support. He's still going to be the hunter. Myflin's going to play on that support Erlang Shen. And that's just because Dwurst has been playing Xing Chen, like it's across SPL and SCL. If you ask me who's a Xing Chen player, I'm gonna respond with Dwurst, honestly. He's been the guy. In game number 1, we were talking about Dwurst sort of being the spotlight player for Eager before and not any longer. When he was the spotlight character, he was playing the Xing Chen.
It was mostly the Hades, though. I mean, you got to give him the Hades as the big one that I used to.
For me, it was the Xing Chen, man.
I mean, the problem is, though, is that Xing Chen doesn't give you a lot of pressure in this solo lane, and I've seen it a lot of times where Dwurst picks these Guardians, and it opens up this right side of the map for invades. It makes it so it's difficult for Jellly to be there on time for his buffs because the solo laner and the jungler are there. I do like the Wrath pickup from him to keep himself competitive in contesting those jungle buffs, even if he isn't there first.
And at the end of the day, he's going to be going up against a Bakasura. So, even if he is a character that's more adept at clearing his own jungle, you still got to worry about the Bakasura coming in and being able to steal away those minion camps.
Without a doubt. I mean, Bakasura, the premier invader, basically, in all of Smite. Yeah. It looks like, in fact, he ate one of the mid harpies and then jumped over. So this is what you'll see a lot of Baka players do: is leave one up, because now you've already got a lead. Either way, you got one by yourself, so you're going to be in a good spot. And then if you can come back and grab this other one. But worst case scenario, you only gave up one mid harpy as opposed to 2.
So we don't really see this character a lot in the pro league, either side of the coin. In North America, Europe, even internationally, we don't see him. We don't see him on PC or console. It's a spicy pick for Rapio. And like we were saying, basically he's all about the basic attacks. His third, his fourth ability, both going to amplify his basic attacks. His ultimate throws on a little bit of a cripple. He's got a jump to get him out of trouble right there, and that's his that's his hallmark ability, eat minion. He's going to be able to just gobble one up real quick, makes him fast in the jungle, and like you said, he's very adept at invades. So what I want to see at a Rapio, 100% of this Baka, I want to see him go in the enemy jungle as much, if not more, than his own.
That's exactly what good Bakasura players will do as much as possible. And there's a lot of intricacies to Bakasura that really stand out, a good Baka from a great Baka. It's keeping that passive up. You can see how fast he is right now, and it's because of that additional movement and attack speed that he gets from killing minions and things of that nature.
Looking for the first gank is Rapio showing up. He's on the bottom side, gets a jump onto Myflin. Not going to pull the trigger on the ultimate just yet. There it is, gets a little bit of a cripple, but he's just too far away. Rapio drops the ultimate, and ultimately it's going to be a failed gank, starting things off.
Not a good start for the Bakasura. Watson was also forced to use his ult in the mid lane there as Rapio made the rotation. Watson pushed up, and that's one of the things that you really can't be doing as a mid laner most of the time. If you're a jungler, if you know your jungler trying to make a play elsewhere on the map, you just chill in your tower, dude. You go farm your back camps. Do something besides being up in the lane and in a vulnerable position.
And that's going to allow the enemy team to make the rotation?
Yeah, it's going to make it. you allow the enemy team to make the rotation, but you don't get picked off in the mid lane because, especially as like Isis, it's so easy for Hunbatz to just jump on top of you, drop that Fear No Evil. Yes, you've got your circle of protection, but you really want to be saving that for objectives as possible or for a full-on team fight. It's a great team fighting ultimate. Just playing safe, and that's one of the vulnerable areas you can get picked off easily is whenever your junglers make it a play elsewhere and you play like you've got its support.
Yeah, so we definitely have to be a little bit more careful there. And our Bakasura, where does he really come into his stride? I'd say about the mid game. Would you agree?
I would agree with that. He wants to get a couple items online. You can see he's already finished off that Ninja Tabai. So Bakasura just wants a ton of attack speed because he's got true damage on his Butcher Blades. His third ability gives him extra true damage on his auto attacks, and it's duration based, kind of like Freya. So you need to just have that attack speed to get as many auto attacks off with true damage as you can. You'll see a lot of Bakasuras go for that Fatalis to make it easy to stick to you with that true damage, as well as, you know, the Executioners, things like that. Yeah,
Fatalis is absolutely core on this character. There's a nice little knock up. It's going to be answered by the ultimate out of the hood. Batz. There's the ultimate out of the other jungler. Nice up down coming out of Rapio. Delta Marine gets annihilated.
So Delta Marine there is trying to follow up off the Fear No Evil, but with Bakasura right there, there's not a whole lot he can do. Rapio, great presence of mind, jumps the damage, wouldn't have mattered either way, but it looks a lot flashier.
I love it. Hit him with the up down and take his life. That one's going to wind up on the highlight reel for absolutely sure. Rapio laughing the entire way. Even miles after that kill is done, he's still laughing up in the mid lane. You gotta love that presence.
And I don't mind that because you heard in the player spotlight for Jellly, his own teammates talking about how he can be a tilt machine. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that if you can get any sort of advantage, getting into your opposition's head, if you're just sitting there hitting XY like us Xboxers like to do, making that noise right there can get in the opposition's head.
Absolutely. So that and taunt. What is it? It's left XY. That is
right XY.
Right XY. Those are when I sat down to playtest on the console. Those are the first things I learned.
You got to learn how to do that.
I learned that.
And then laugh is right XBX.
Yeah, I learned how to write XBX before I learned how to train my ultimate. No lie.
Is that the same for on PC? You still getting past the spam taunt phase?
I'll never get past it. VET is bound to mouse 1. VEL is bound to mouse 2.
Oh, you're one of those macro guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
I left click to laugh.
Scum dog.
I left click to taunt. I right click to laugh. And then I use abilities. I never basic attack. That's why I don't play Bacchus.
I actually believe that your keybinds would be that weird though, because looking at your HUD, it's all over the place. And like your keybinds are weird. You would have like basic attack bound to something else.
I'm playing a spaceship, and Team Rival going to ride that spaceship up to the moon. They're looking for a great lead. The Gold Fury's certainly going to bring it to him. Sneaky one coming. Eager show up a little bit too late. And Rival able to snatch this one very quickly up to a 2,000 gold lead.
And Eager looks like they had a ward on that Gold Fury, so they knew what was happening, just couldn't get there to respond quite in time. 3 ultimates used, but it doesn't matter if you get the Gold Fury and you can just wait it out. Now Rival just has to be patient. Those are 3 huge team fight ultimates that you've used. Desert's Fury, Circle of Protection, and Intoxicate. You can't fight without those.
That's why you're seeing Eager play so aggressive here. They're down 2K. Why are you in the opponent's jungle? Because they know that Team Rival have a lot of their tools in the cooldown circle. They're not able to really combat and make these fights, but Eager realize they don't have the numbers advantage. Rival fight their cooldowns, or lack thereof, with numbers. They stack 3-4 players on top of each other. We might not have our ultimates, but we can still battle you because it's 4-on-2. That sends Eager packing and a way to clear their own buffs.
Plus, it's so difficult to invade a Bakasura anyways, because he's got the Wrath built into his kit. I mean, he wraths his own speed buff by eating it himself. He gets a heal from it, he adds to his passive, getting attack speed. He also gets protections by eating minions. So it's very, very difficult to really go into the enemy Bakasura's jungle and do what you want.
Absolutely, and that's just powerfully amplifying what Bakasura wants to do in the first place. He's got the boots finished, likely going to be, I wonder which build path we're going to see. So you're absolutely going to see a Fatalis, it's just a matter of when. Usually the second item, because like we said, Bakasura is similar to Freya. He actually scales better with attack speed rather than raw power because his steroid Butcher Blades is duration based.
I wouldn't mind seeing Ichval here though. I mean,
for sure,
stealing away, getting that additional attack speed, stealing away their physical power, adding to your own. It's a lot cheaper than Fatalis.
It's the bridge item.
It's the bridge item, exactly. And I'm sure with that Gold Fury, can we look at Golden Hand, please, and see exactly how much? What in the world?
I was just about to
Rapio,
say.
back, man. You've got 3K gold.
I was just about to say, Rapio has had these boots forever. It's 8 minutes in. When you've got 3,300 in the pocket, yeah, just buy a Fatalis. It's absolutely what you want to do. Buy a Fatalis, buy rank 2 of likely to be Executioner.
It could be Executioner, could also be Chinsai.
Both are acceptable.
Both are solid, but you do want some penetration before going into Chinsai's because it is that passive is affected by penetration, and if you don't have any penetration, obviously you're not going to be doing quite as much damage. Maybe more efficient to go for the Executioner here.
Yeah.
But there is a fairly, I mean, you've got a couple tanky targets that you can chew up with that Chinsai. I mean, the Xing Chen obviously going to have a ton of HP. That's what Xing Chens like to build. And the Erlang Shen support as well.
Yeah, it's just the two of them, though. So I think I'd rather see the Executioner come out. Not only are you going to help yourself out, obviously you're going to help out the Odin and the Anhur as well. So I'd like to see the Executioner.
That's a good point. We'll have to see if they're able to build correctly and not stack too much. Dwurst in a bad spot, jumps right into Rapio, but Rapio's the one in the bad spot now. Dwurst picks up 2, I'm a monster off the mark. Circle of Protection comes down, and the cage is perfect onto Myflin.
And Rapio just completely out of this fight. Cage still open, and there's a shot down. Watson gonna fall down. Delta Marine makes sure of it. There's the answer back. Zenborne gets one down for himself. It's 1 for 1.
Watson was the one stuck in the cage of his own there. It was Dwurst putting in a ton of damage onto the enemy mid laner, and I loved the idea from Delta Marine, but it can't happen. It looks like Atonement going in on the right-hand side, not quite enough damage to finish off the Cougs in the duo lane.
Yeah, just way off the mark coming out from Atonement. And right there, that was Rapio getting excited that he had a good lead. Right, he's 1-0-0. He doesn't have a bazillion kills, but this has been Rapio's game. A lot of his performance has been already exciting. He's playing on what's likely one of his favorite characters. If you could have a deep pocket pick like this, you're going to really enjoy taking it out. So he feels good, but he makes that flank on the backside while he knew that Jellly has the Fear No Evil available. Fear No Evil does a great job at controlling Bakasuras.
It can, but if he pops it at the wrong time, whenever you first pop Regurgitate, you are CC immune for a very short duration. But it could be enough. I mean, with the extra damage you get, the true damage, if you find a low target, you can immune a CC with Regurgitate and try and kill him before it goes off. But overall, you're right. Fear No Evil just lasts so long. Rapio's not going to be able to sit in there and deal the sustained auto attack damage that he wants to.
It's the multiple CC takes. Oh, that was an Erlang Shen at one point.
Got eaten up.
Just Zenborne with the last hit on that one. 2-0-1 on the quote-unquote support Bacchus.
Myflin just couldn't get that 72 transformations off in time. He was using it, and then it got stunned away immediately by the burst from Zenborne, and just couldn't get out of there.
I mean, forget 72. He couldn't even get off one transformation.
Well, he got into the turtle for like 3 steps.
So we got one transformation.
One transformation.
He couldn't get the other 71.
Can you imagine if it had 72 different transformations?
No, that'd be a little bit much.
How would you even target that?
Probably the number pad. Team rival now, looking towards the Gold Fury.
Just like type in like I need animal 36 right now.
No, it's Xbox off. That's how you make it happen. Team Eager here, trying to battle into Team Rival. They're down 2K. It's 11.5 on the clock. They're also down 2 kills. So 2K meaning multiple things right there.
The good news for Eager is that Delta Marine has already had a bigger impact than he did in Game 1. It feels like, at least at this point. He only has 1 kill, but he's second on the player damage charts, and these crushes have been on the mark. Now, the I'm a Monsters have not, but it only takes 1. It only takes 1 I'm a Monster to change the game entirely.
Absolutely.
And I love Delta Marine on the Scylla. He's very comfortable on it. He's kicked my ass on it multiple times. I know it can be potent.
And see, that right there, that's sort of what I was talking about. Look, I'm not crazy enough to call Raijin a bad character, but he just seems so, if you're not doing the damage, you're not doing anything. The Scylla, if you're not doing the damage, well, one team fight, you get I'm a Monster waterfalls, all of a sudden, hey, it doesn't matter that I'm 0-12 or I'm 0-30. I want a single team fight, and now my team's going to Super Regionals. Shouts to the best, right? When it comes down to it, I think Scylla is a little bit more dynamic, and you can hide, you can do different things, and then you still have that bonus of the ult.
Without a doubt. I mean, Scylla, even if you don't find the I'm a Monsters, I talk about it all the time, finding a big Sikkim in the middle of a team fight is just as impactful. I mean, getting a 3-man root that sets you up for a 3-man crush can win you a team fight instantly. This is a big play god on a big play mid laner, and I like the selection.
I mean, Crush brings you down about half HP, and the worst part about it is that people don't even realize is that, sure, most of the time you're going to instantly pop the Crush for the damage, but the Crush is also going to strip you out of your protection. So as your team comes around and gets to flank on top of the Crush, I mean, you're just helping out the team fight even more so.
It looks like Rival going to be starting up the Gold Fury, looking to secure their second of the game. They do have the Wrath, as does Dwurst. Is he going to be able to get in there in time? Cage is Myflin, and he's already dead.
Just too much to handle. Bakasura is going to get rooted, and by himself is going to be Dwurst up top. Let's listen to Rival as they collapse on Eager.
Okay, just get out.
It's alright.
Get out. No point done.
It's alright.
We need to use Isosol.
Yeah,
I didn't know. They're on goal. Just go behind him. Go behind him as well.
I'm
going left. Just make it up. They have to reset. They can't do away with it.
Okay.
Watch out for the He has Hoggy. Watch out. They keep watch out for him trying to kill you, man. That's fine.
They got it. Okay, we have to be aggressive, okay?
We need to use our rules.
Yes.
You know, production, I thought I said let's listen to Rival, not Eager.
That was Rival.
All I heard was Eager screaming their faces off from across the side. You can hear them so loud. You know, I'm not even kidding. I heard more Eager in that listening than I did Rival.
And you heard that it's Rapio saying, we need to use the Ice Assault. We need to use the Ice Assault. And it sounds like Watson didn't even use it in that engagement.
No.
And Rapio's right. You need to be using Ice Assault. You're saving it for the perfect time, and I get that, but the perfect time, the worst time is better than no time at all.
That right there, that you see that a lot with lower level Scylla players as well, looking for the I need the absolute perfect lineup, right? And like you said, pulling the trigger at the terrible time is better than not pulling the trigger at all. And that right there, you know, and Watson isn't the reason that fight goes south, but with an Isis ultimate, maybe you see a little bit of a turnaround, maybe you see a little bit of an adjustment, but very quickly, Eager are able to tie this one up, both with respects to kills and gold off of the objective. And like I said, the comms, it's not just for fun. I mean, Eager, we use this term more in the SCL than the SPL, momentum-driven team. And I mean, Eager is absolutely one of them.
Without a doubt, especially Myflin, and he's the one who's kind of been getting crushed this game. I mean, you saw them use the Cage right away, the Bakasura ultimate right away, but those are two big team fight ults that they're blowing on the Erlang Shen. Even though he died right away, it was all the combination. It was the wombo combo between the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, straight into the Eye of a Monster, straight into the Fear No Evil. You're not moving, and you're taking a ton of damage for a long period of time. Great teamwork there between Dwurst, Delta Marine, and Jellly, setting up to win that team fight for Eager.
And teamwork is all well and good, but I'm here for the Jellly show. I want to see the individual prowess of the Monkey Man right here. He gets the kill onto the tower. He gets a couple of kills during the team fight as well. Jellly, I mean, this is the guy that every now and then you see a lot of players come through, right? I cast a Challenger Cup. I've casted some of the College League as well, and here over SCL, SPL. These players come through, and some are honestly forgettable. But when I first met Jellly, right, it was at an MLG event a while ago. His family was there as well, and I could just tell. I was like, you know, this kid, he's got the right support system around him. He's got the right head on his shoulders. He's an intelligent guy, and you know, is he going to be a support player on Team Eager in the SCL forever? I don't know, but he's going to be a long-lasting player. And here you see him transitioning in the jungle, really accepting the role of the spotlight and accepting the role of the heavy lifting that he's got to do. You know, Jellly has just been an outstanding player, and I think he'll continue to be for a long time.
And he's very young. That's another thing, is that he's a very young guy. Still, I think he's 15 right now.
He's like 16 now.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time to grow if he wants to stay in the scene, and that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I agree. He's definitely one of the players that jumped out just when you're playing against him.
Yeah.
He's got the. You can tell a player's good the first time you play them just by the way they control their character. If it's just WASD, if it's just your left thumbstick, I can tell what kind of potential you have immediately. It's that important.
Yeah, it's all about the intricacies and how you're able to handle that Team Rival going to wrap around here, not look for much over there, and you know when it comes down to it, Jellly he just has the control of a much more matured and tenured player, and he's able to also enact that sort of recklessness that allows players like Chapo to be a little bit more successful. So seeing Team Eager sort of come into themselves and mature as a unit is very exciting. And right here, they're going up against Team Rival, who are a little bit earlier on that timeline.
Very exciting for me to see Cougar pick up that Pythags piece with the Scylla on his side, as well as the Xing Chen. Now Soul is not one of the characters that Pythags piece really feels great on, but with this many magical damage dealers on your side, you want a little bit of cooldown potentially with Soul, some magical life steal to help you box, gives your Scylla and your Xing Chen some of that magical life steal and 30 extra power. That's what's up. That's my boy right there.
Call now. We're not done just yet. You might get more. You're sitting here trying to sell me when really Team Rival, they're not buying any of it. They've got a ring around one of the players. Myflin going to get out. A little bit of a silence there. So 2 ultimates popped and really nothing to come of it for Team Rival.
But the big one that's not used is Ice Assault. If they're going to full commit, you full commit. This is not either one there that was they weren't able to pick that up, just not quite enough damage.
Oh. I honestly thought Watson used it.
Did he? Can we take a look at Watson? We can't see the diamonds with this spectator client. If we ride along with Watson, yeah, he did not use it in that engagement.
Well, there you go.
So very surprised.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm going to change how I feel about that team fight right there. Nice little jump on top of Myflin, and he's in a lot of trouble. Going to get squared off by Watson. Here comes help from Dwurst. There's a little whirlwind. Going to toss 2 players, but they bounce right off of the wall. Team Rival still seems to have the advantage. Gnome takes out Aircougar. Gnome's going to be in trouble. Very low HP. Dwurst coming around the right side. Delta from the left gets him with the 1-2 punch, but Atonement is able to take down Jellly.
Dwurst finally finds Zenborne, but he's in trouble. The pillar impale, perfect there from Atonement. Dwurst just buying a little bit of time, nowhere to go for him. Atonement with the double kill, 4 dead for Eager, 4 for 2. Great fight there from Rival. It all starts because of a great initiation from Zenborne.
Yeah.
He finds Myflin. Myflin, again, just not in the right position.
And you know, I sometimes I feel like I have to stop talking about Zenborne as much as I do, because he's everybody mentions Rapio and Watson, but for me, Zenborne has been, from minute 1, watching him play on this Rival squad for months and months in the SCL. Zenborne has always been my go-to guy. He really, really starts the team fights. He controls the team fights. Listen, you guys can take your Rapios and your Watsons. I want a Zenborne.
He's a really good player. I agree with you. He doesn't get quite as much recognition as he probably deserves. He's been on this Rival squad. He was on this team during the summer split where they came and kind of surprised everyone with their performance. I agree with you. I think he kind of flies under the radar with the big names that he has on his team, but he's definitely a solid support player.
Yeah, I mean, I first noticed him on the Sobek, and when you watch a support player play Sobek and play Sobek successfully, right? It's all about picking and choosing your battles, right? If you go too deep, you're getting trouble. Same thing with the Bacchus right here. Team Rival, they're going to zone out their opposition. Go for the fight. There's the belly flop. Perfect engagement, but an even better ultimate out of the juggler. Sends 3 players north and 2 players south. There's Myflin going to continue the fight. Rapio goes down as everybody gets separated. Red buff spawns, but nobody's thinking about the buff. They're thinking about the kills. Pop goes the ultimate out of Watson, and they're looking for the same result onto Atonement. Is Eager.
Cougar is still so healthy. He's just throwing autos all over the place. Jellly is waiting for Watson over here. That fight was all Jellly. 5-man Fear No Evil.
Beautiful.
Just causing havoc by the red buff. Delta Marine looked like he was in an awful position, and he was, until Jellly came up big. You wanted to see him make the big plays, and he made it right there.
I mean, Nova's gonna walk up. He's gonna get pancake flip. Nice little jump. He gets hit by the big shot. And Delta Marine cleans up his own mess, getting the kill. But right there, you always talk about when you pick a Hun Batz, it's about separating the team fight, and we always mention this stuff in picks and bans, and on the battlefield it doesn't actually happen out that way. Right there, that's what you dream about when you select the Hun Batz.
Jellly is gonna go to bed tonight, lay his head on the pillow, and think about pressing Y with 5 people near him. Man, that was absolutely beautiful. Rapio then jumps in. Jellly follows him into the red buff area. really, really perfect team fight from him. And Delta Marine he was way too far up there, but doesn't get punished for it. All the while, Jellly is, 1 HP, juking around. Myflin is staying alive. Big ultimate again from Dwurst. Got to be worried about throwing them into that Isis ultimate. He actually helped out Zenborne by tossing him into the heal from the Isis ult. But overall, that's what Eager's always succeeded at and always excelled at, is just team fighting so well.
You point out the positioning out of Delta Marine. He was in a bad spot, but that's what allowed him to get off as much damage as he did. And, in my book, it's only a crime if you get caught. So Delta Marine, bad positioning? Yeah, I see it as good positioning.
It was all a bait, dude.
Exactly.
It was all a bait.
It's all just making it all come together full circle. Team Rival now off to a unfortunate disadvantage at the moment. Down about 3,000 gold. And 2 kills, despite having massive control of the game earlier on. 23.5 on the clock right about now. And Team Eager have snatched away the lead and the momentum of this game. And if you've heard the guys like we've heard them here, they are certainly, we can talk about momentum driven and everything. You got to hear these guys. I'm going to toss it to a listen in next time we get a really big team fight to Eager. And I really want you guys to experience what we've been able to hear here in the studio.
And I promise you that the loudest people you're going to hear are Jellly and Myflin. Yeah. Those are the two dudes who like to yell an awful lot. Myflin was just sitting there in awe of watching Chapo yell. He's like, yo, I want to do that. Like, that looks like fun. I'm gonna do it, and he's done it so far.
I mean, that's what makes these lands so exciting, is that these console players are they're just living and breathing these games. They're absolutely 100% invested.
Myflin could get caught out.
I thought he was gonna get caught. I really did.
It's so close, but it's gonna be Atonement who gets caught and actually pops both relics.
And here comes Rapio. Ulting.
Wow. That is such a huge win for Eager. They get both relics out of the Hunter and the ultimate from Bakasura, all in exchange for a Sanctuary.
And when it comes down to it, Baka's ultimate is huge. Here comes Eager. Let's listen to Eager as they take on this rival initiation.
Please. Please. I literally am stuck. Look at Anhur. Chase him. Can I help someone? Fuck him up! Let's go, Atonement! I need a back. Oh, no. Knock him up. Are you okay? You're good. Come to the back. Alright, rotate safe. That's his point down. Play safe. That was my Aegis.
Guys, you have to peel back from him. He's gonna go on me every time. That's why
I don't even know where you died.
He came up where you were. Then I had to run all the way around because he's chasing me. Look for Baka chasing me. Okay. Try and do it.
Yeah, we were on Bacchus for too long that fight. It took way too long. He's too tanky. Unless we get a Scylla ult on him, we can't kill him.
Yeah, I thought we were.
Odin.
I played it really poorly, so
guys,
I'm
we're
gonna
like
step it up next
4K
one.
up now. Remember, we're ahead.
Yeah.
About to be a little bit more ahead.
Just watch the fire.
I'll be here for fire.
We're gonna counter ward.
I'm here. My beats are up, my Aegis is down.
I think they were checking to see if we were on it. Alright, I'm back.
Myflin is an absolute trip.
That was Cougs. That was Cougs who goes, we're about to be a little bit more ahead. As he's like pushing down a tier 1 tower and left.
Oh, Aircougar coming a long way since the Astro Squared days. Yeah, Aircougar, again, another historical player, flirted around with the Pro League on the PC. Aircougar's another one, which, this is why I like Team Eager as a unit, is because they all seem to have sort of the same sort of story, and then there's Myflin. It's these 4 guys that have almost sort of made it and didn't make it on lack of talent. It was just sort of lack of opportunity, I would say, across the board. And just like starry-eyed young guns, and really coming out. And speaking of Jellly, going back to what I was talking about, I liked how he's the voice of reason. There's a couple of older, more mature players that just like, look, we're still up 4K. It's not a big deal. We'll get him next time, right? And having Jellly be the voice of reason when he's the tilt-a-whirl, apparently, I think that's kind of fun.
It is, and he's the one who's making the calls. Hey, we used too much on Bacchus that last fight. He's too tanky. Unless we do this, let's try and look for something else. And that's Delta Marine is just, he's always going to be telling you what you can do to help him out a little bit more. and that's the way we mid laners are, man. You just got to help us out more. We're sick of getting dove by these Bakasuras, but he's right. There has to be some sort of peel for him if they're going to win these team fights.
Absolutely, and so Bakasura has been able to make an impact here. 1, 2, and 5. Probably not as much of an impact as Rapio kind of wanted to, but certainly going to be a big deal. He's on the bottom of the player damage, so that speaks for itself.
Yeah, just not bringing that that early game pressure that he wanted to, basically. And this, it could still work out. I mean, this is still a back and forth game, but right now with the lead that Rival got early on, Rapio was not able to push it with this Bakasura. And this is a guy that everyone's always talking about when it comes to Rival. It's, you know, Rapio is this unbelievable player. Can he carry them? And he picks this off meta pick, and it hasn't worked out so far this game.
Well, when it comes down to Bakasura, I think he has the same potential as a Scylla type character, that one team fight can sway everything. Bakasura with that ultimate, it makes his basic attacks, you know, cones and cripples everybody. If Baka gets the right flank and he's able to chew through a mid laner, chew through a hunter, and get on top of a jungler, all of a sudden the team fight goes the other way. There is still potential for Rapio to really make his point here.
I agree with you. Soul Reaver there was used on Myflin on the Spirit Ball from Isis, so they're not going to have that for the next 30 seconds or so. Gnome caught out a little bit here in the jungle. He's going to take a little bit of poke, but not too much. It's a pretty tanky Odin.
Yeah, he's not too concerned. He's not concerned at all, actually. Odin's just going to walk away. Not a big deal.
Blink being forced there on Rapio is a big deal, though. That's going to really hurt his blink engage onto Delta Marine. That's his whole game plan, is that you can't run away with I'm a Monster. Even with that additional movement speed, Baka is going to be just as fast as you, and he's going to be able to stick to you with those cone autos coming out of Regurgitate. So it's a decent counter pick idea, but with that blink down, it makes it harder.
Well, Odin still has the blink available next to the Wrath as well. Team Eager going to start the Fire Giant, but it's probably more likely about the fight rather than the objective itself. Team Rival slowly filters in, more focused on the left side towards the mid lane, and they're going to play it careful here. Nice little crush over the wall, hits Gnome for a little bit. He's down to half HP.
Purification was used there by Atonement, so again, it's Eager getting the better of these small engagements, just getting those important relics out. You can see every relic is still up on the side of Eager. Myflin did have to back, though, and Rival knows this. They're going to pull the Fire Giant for now, but they don't want a full commit.
Yeah, still not ready to go all for it, so because of that, Team Rival going to back off just a little bit.
And
oh,
now
that was a back
Gnome,
by Rival. That was 2 backs.
Gnome and Zenborne, that's one Wrath. Neither of them have teleport. This should be Eager's fight to push, and you can see the very conservative positioning coming out of the rest of Rival, knowing their teammates have backed.
Here comes Team Eager starting to go the Fire Giant already. Myflin finds a pin, looking for more. There's Jellly on the back end. Let's listen to Eager one last time.
Behind you! Behind you! Odin! Alright, I'm on Bacchus, I'm on Bacchus. Fire. No, kill him! Yeah! Let's go! Woo!
Don't get too excited, like we lost game 1.
Dude, I crit him twice.
Don't harsh my vibe, Derek.
What?
Oh, you're harshing my vibes.
Go push right.
I'm backing up. Sorry, man. It's just...
There's 4 dead. There's 4 dead. Please, someone help. Like, what?
Hey, where you at?
Come on.
Where you going?
Yeah,
Why right? There's 4 dead. Why wouldn't we push a tower?
Let's go. I'm on my way. I'll tank.
Rapio's coming, I'm coming on my way. I was clearing mid wave.
You can
I'll
reset
back.
me.
I'll
I have a
just
heal
back.
coming out.
I'll tank for a second more.
Well, that was Team Eager. They certainly are hitting their namesake. They are absolutely eager to take this one. And, you know, listen to them it's just a treat, man.
And you can hear it. Well, that play all starts about a couple minutes ago. Whenever they get that purification out from Atonement, Jellly able to jump on top of him, use that Fear No Evil. When you could instantly delete a hunter from a fight, it's going to be very difficult for the other team to come back from that. No Atonement, and he's been a lot of their player damage. Second on the team, a little bit over 12,000, and that he was a little bit closer to the top before that fight, but because he dies so early on, he's not able to keep that damage and stay consistent with the likes of Jellly, Aircougar, and Watson.
And so a lot of what makes Anhur such a safe hunter, so he hits his stride in the mid game, but late game is still effective because of how safe he is. And a lot of his safety obviously comes from the jump, but also the pillar. And here's the problem. Team Eager's comp doesn't really care about the pillar. You're gonna have the double jump to get past it from the solo lane. You're gonna have the single jump out of the monkey to get past it in the mid lane. I'm a Monster comes out and you don't really care about anything. And same thing with the soul. You're able to sort of coast right on through the slow. So one of Anhur's major tools of staying safe in the late game just isn't really applicable.
But the overall problem for Rival is just the lack of damage. They've got no damage coming out of their jungler right now. Still, at 32 minutes, it's Zenborne on top of Rapio on the player damage charts, and that just cannot happen. In a game like this, in a situation like this,
Absolutely
you need your
not.
carries to be the carries, and that's just not happening right now for Rival.
And I love a good old-fashioned spicy pick, right? A deep pocket pick. Bring me the Fenrir supports. Bring me, I mean, our long Shen support was spicy at one point, right? Bring me the chalk mids. And I'm pushing it with that last one.
Yeah, you wish.
But I like these exciting pocket picks that, if you think about it, make a little bit of sense, but there's a reason we don't see them every game. But when you pick something like that, if you're gonna break the rules, you gotta smash the rules. And you can't wind up on the bottom. It's just not the way it works.
Now Rapio doesn't want to be on the bottom anymore. Look at it, Jellly doing about half of his HP, but Jellly does have that
Go for
regen.
it.
Just gonna be able to jump out of that. He's still going for him. He's doing what you want, but it's not gonna happen.
He's by himself.
Oh,
That's a win.
That's a huge win.
That's a gigantic win. The hot blink at a Team Rivals jungler. And Jellly, well, that's one Smash controller down.
Is that why he stood still?
Yes, he broke his controller. Okay, I don't know about that one. But Jellly not having the tool here is a gigantic detriment.
Gigantic that the Phoenix is already falling. So is Watson, 1 HP. Big Intox kick gets Zenborne very in a good spot, but Cougar still alive, tracing out that damage.
Very in a bad spot for Rapio. There goes one, but Gnome's able to answer back. It's 1 for 1 so far. Aircougar down might be a bigger deal than Rapio. Too bad, Jellly don't care. Takes down Gnome. Too bad, Jellly don't care. Takes down Atonement. The double kill for the young jungler, and they're pushing into the Titan. They're going for the win.
Dwurst gonna have to tank this up. No minions available, but they've got a lot of damage courtesy of Delta Marine.
See you later.
Watson's already dead. Myflin gonna pick that one up. Titan's still pretty healthy though.
Oh, he's got the ultimate back up. Zenborne into the wall. Zenborne into the ground. 20 kills to 10. Deicide. Team Eager takes game 2.
The #1 seed out of Europe, the team that only dropped 2 games during the online split, will not be going to Worlds. It's going to be Soar and Eager. You're guaranteed 2 out of Group A.
And it's all about Coach Giliara.
Sure?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Oh wait, they aren't guaranteed. I'm lit, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm lit. So Eager still got to play Soar tomorrow. Forget all that I just said about. But yeah,
That's what
please take care of this
I was trying to put the spotlight on Giliara because of what you said.
Was that the best target, really?
Absolutely, my man Himeki. Why not, dude? In any event, Eager do wind up finding the split. Rival looked fantastic at game #1. Honestly, the choice out of Rapio, like I said, I like seeing these solid picks. I like seeing the kind of fun stuff come out of it, but just doesn't wind up working.
I mean, it was a big risk. It had a big reward potentially. Could have really snowballed the game. Instead, bottom of the player damage charts throughout the entire game. He has the one hot play at the end, but just not enough.
Yeah, exactly. Bakasura winds up on the bottom. Can't help but smile a little bit. Adonis, break it down.
I'm going to break down aggro saying that people are qualified when they're not. I just see him like start getting excited about it. I'm like, no, they still have a chance. Don't do it. It is their chance actually going to end up on your shoulders. Soar's going to have to find a 2-0 against Eager to force that tie. And then if that does happen, we will have a tiebreaker match at the end of day tomorrow. But let's break down this set, or at least this final game here. Once again, kind of Rival drafting into this, early game powerhouse lineup. You got the Odin for the mid-game team fights, also a lot of damage early, the Isis, the Bacchus, the Anhur, and it was going well for them, but it really seemed to be a lack of, being able to secure a lead heading into the late game right before Eager's team comp really started to shine. Yeah,
no, for sure. I think it was a lack of, all right, so you have a Bakasura in the jungle, right? And you have, you don't really have good commitment. Bakasura was farming pretty well in the early game, but there was no hard CC to lock down these people. They were trying to go on Erlang and cage him, but they were able to burn him every time he popped shell. And then they used too much on him.
There's a difference between a Bakasura controlling a jungle teamfight versus a Batz controlling a jungle teamfight, right? Obviously, the displacement much more valuable than the cripple. And we actually were talking after the picks advance, this is either going to be very successful for Rapio on the Bakasura, or it's going to crash and burn. And unfortunately for the late game, wasn't the impact we were really expecting out of him.
I think looking at the damage charts near the late game, before the end of it, though, he was sitting at the bottom below everyone. And, that's the weakness of Bakasura. Yeah, he's going to be great if you can catch someone 1v1. but in these more coordinated team fights, we saw him do what he needed to do. We saw him blink engage onto Delta Marine, but Delta Marine just pops the Sanctuary, and Rapio's alone in that backline. No one else can follow up with him.
100%. And one thing that, shout out to Jellly. He initiated so damn well. Like, he would use a bounce to get into the backline, got a big ult on her. He used beads regardless, he kills them. And Myflin's shot calls were great too. I mean, you can hear him getting real loud.
Oh, yeah.
And he's calling the targets out, and he's being that hype factor that you need in a team.
It just didn't seem like there was a lot of pressure applied onto Delta Marine or Aircougar in a lot of these mid to late game team fights. There was one team fight where we were doing the listenings for Eager where they actually did pick off Delta Marine, but they lost too much for it, unfortunately. So as a result, now Eager did find the split in game number 2. So now they're in a good spot to be able to still qualify to Worlds. So all they need to do realistically is just to win one game against you guys. But I'm sure that you guys aren't going to let that happen.
You were praising Jellly. You think he's the best jungler in NA right now?
No.
not even like no, that's not a thing. I'm the best jungler. I'm Chapo. But honestly, phenomenal showing from both teams. I mean, it was great. I really liked Rival. It really seemed they adapted to that North American style. Honestly, if they faced Eager first or if they faced you again, I don't know if it would go as smoothly. And that's one of the strengths of having that experience on LAN. I think that you guys were able to show.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I really feel like something they told us, it was hard to study us. Like, it was like because we had so much switch ups in the team that it was way too hard to study us because we didn't have enough time together. But it was like kind of like a hidden secret because we were scrimming so much time with this new roster and they couldn't study us. So that was good because they banned Freya and our ADC is new to ADC.
Well, Eager here, they put themselves in a good spot. They cannot lose this LAN as of yet, but they could still be in a tiebreaker match. And we got Tom with an interview with the coach himself, Giliara.
Thanks a lot, Adonis. I'm standing here, like you said, with Coach Giliara. You've been around the Smite scene for a long time. You've played a little bit. You've coached a little bit. But now you're here with Eager. Talk to me about what this team is like for you.
Yeah, they're like really close friends with me. I've known all these guys for years. They asked me to coach to help them because I know a lot about the game, or I like to think I know a lot about the game at least. I know I haven't been like the best player in the world, but I'd like to know I think I have a lot of knowledge about the game, and I can help them out in that sense and help them with comps and drafts and stuff like that.
And I think we've seen that because Eager was sort of the first Titan of the SCL, and they were doing that by themselves, pretty much with this roster, a little bit of switch up with Myflin, but they were able to be successful in the first year, right? We saw Jellly and Dwurst really carry that together, and then here in the second year, they sort of plateau a little bit. They made some changes, and I think one of the bigger changes was bringing you on. So, talking to the guys, you got to know what the team was like before. What's the biggest change that you bring as a coach?
The biggest change, I think, is we think a lot more about how we're going to draft against certain teams. Like, now we study our enemy teams that we instead of just going in blind every time, we're doing our research and seeing what we can do to beat them and play around their strategies.
It's really brought the team to the next level. As you can see, like I said, a couple of splits ago, the question was, is Eager, have they fallen from grace or blah, 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 but you guys have definitely come back to it. You're going to, like you said, could wind up in a couple of different situations, but you're going to Worlds. Flat out, how does it feel?
I don't think we have to win one game tomorrow to go to Worlds. But it's really nice that we have our destiny in our own hands. It's up to us. We can still go as first seed or second seed. It depends on how we play tomorrow, and we're gonna prep a lot for SOAR tomorrow. Exactly.
So you guys heading up against Rival. These guys were the Titans of Europe. Everybody seemed to look up to them as one of the more dominant forces in the SCL. And they weren't really all that, but they did wind up bringing a couple of punches. What surprised you about them, and what kind of didn't surprise you about them?
Well, yesterday we saw yesterday they didn't do so well against SOAR, so we kind of a little underestimated. Maybe we can get the 2-0, but they really came in today. We see today is they played like a Rival. They're great guys, great team. They played so well, and it was a split.
It was fun to watch for sure. And my last question really to you is, what's the most exciting part about being here at the SCL Finals?
I just like all the people, all the personalities, like Clow, ALG. You guys are nice too. Everyone's great here.
It's definitely a lot of fun. You got any shout outs before I let you go?
Yeah, shout out to Eager, our sponsors like Scuff and Corsair, and shout out to Steve.
Zatman gets a shout out for some reason. All I want is one LAN where I don't have to mention Zatman. In any event, that's going to do it for us here on this Saturday. We've got games coming to you tomorrow, of course, the conclusion to the SCL, but we're starting a little bit earlier. 11 a.m. Atlanta time, EST, EDT. 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to be starting things off with AVGL. It's the finals for the College League. Very exciting stuff coming along the way. I'll be on the call along with Tiger, and we'll see how all that fun stuff happens. The SCL action will happen afterwards at 1 p.m. right here on hi-rez TV. For myself, everybody in the back, everybody in the front, all the teams, and of course, I guess that man. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see